You know, when you walk into a building, you kind of have to figure out how you're going to help a client. This is general considerations when you're thinking about efficiency. So something that I see everywhere is equipment running idle. Another thing is leaks. Leaks happen in so many different places, and these tend to be, you know, high energy types of systems. So that's and sometimes it's just a matter of listening. So in a lot of manufacturing facilities, you walk in, you hear it's compressed air. Okay, this one, high grade energy supply for low grade end use. So for example, using compressed air instead of a broom. So one facility that I was visiting, they import steam from a cogen plant at 250 psi, and they don't have any use in the plant for that level of steam. So they immediately step it down in pressure. Well, there's a huge energy loss in that step down. So one thing that I see in lots of places, you know, there's a need for exhaust ventilation in a lot of processes. So process changes, they change the plant around, they move the equipment, but there's a hole in the ceiling, we don't really need any more, but forget about it. So you can find a lot of things like that, and sometimes there's an inactive ventilator just exhausting because it was useful at one point. So certain processes require special ambient conditions, for example. What we often see is that there's a machine where there's a fill point and you just have this very small space where you need these special conditions applied, but instead it applies to an entire room. Another thing to pay attention to is defective in scrap products. So there's energy embedded in that scrap. So there's energy recommendations associated with that. But then also the thing to consider is that when you are thinking about energy efficiency opportunities, if those opportunities also tie back to an improvement in product quality, suddenly your recommendation has way more value because you're tying back to the value of the product. Finding out about future plans for the facility. When you learn that there's new equipment planned or new processes, that's a prime opportunity to implement energy efficiency. It's like new construction, right? And then safety. A lot of things happen in manufacturing. There are confined spaces. There are chemical processes going on. So I think especially in a manufacturing environment, it's worth slowing down a little bit and being more deliberate about how you turn a corner.